you to listen, and I also want you to focus on getting yourself signed up for something today, or make a friend that is involved today, okay? So right now, I'm going to give the mic over to Vinny. He's going to start us off, and we're going to go from there, okay? Woo!
Hello, everybody. Is the audio okay?
Oh, it's so good to see so many people out here today. In case you don't know, I'm one of the local emergency room nurses. Back in No Kings 1 in middle of June last year, I got off work early. I was given the pleasure of showing up at the ICE facility. I was there for about 5 minutes, dressed like a dad, pair of cargo shorts and a t-shirt, and a megaphone because I wanted to make sure I was heard. I was there for about 5 minutes before the BORTAC, the Border Patrol's tactical assault team, because Border Patrol for some reason needs a tactical assault team, shot me in the face with a 5-ounce canister fired from a tube-launched gun. It almost, actually I thought it did. I thought it had ruptured the globe to my left eye. And as I sat in that hospital bed waiting for the trauma eye doc to come see me, I thought, well, if I'm going to lose this eye, I'm going to make sure that when I come back, I'm going to be the loudest SOB they've ever heard. We're Americans. You don't shut us up. We only get louder. And this is a good time and is a good reminder that the most dangerous weapon to tyrants is the speech of free people. And that's why we're here. This flag I started wearing around my neck intentionally when I went out there. Initially just for the optics, because it doesn't look so good shooting a National Guard medic veteran and a ER nurse of 24 years wearing a flag around his neck, doing his patriotic duty to shoot him while he's got the flag around. But also it's a reminder, and I like to tell people this because it's the things in our country's past, some of them are awful. And people are sensitive to that. I'm sensitive to that. This isn't a symbol to me of the horrors that this country's committed. This is a symbol of the promises that we've not yet kept in these last 250 years. This is a reminder that we own this country, and now and today, it is our responsibility to turn the country into what it should be. I would encourage everyone to take video, because a lot of what I'm going to share now isn't for you because you're here, but it's for your friends and family and for the greater public. Because to be excited about 3.5% of the public showing up is sad. Is sad. When we celebrate the 4th of July, I see everyone on the street. What are we celebrating? I don't know. When only 3.5% are willing to stand up for democracy, to protect our republic for which we stand. This is a message about the power of the individual. And in this dark week, that's in a dark year, I'm looking for hope, because part of me thinks maybe I'll just exercise my privilege. Maybe I will shut the front door and pretend the rest of the world doesn't exist. And yet I don't have that in me. I'm compelled to leave. I'm compelled to help my neighbor. And so I still need to find the energy. And I look back and think on a man who changed my life, changed the life of literally thousands of children and adults. Dr. Dave McCluskey. He's a physician in Idaho. He had a young patient with cancer who was telling him, Dr. Dave, my older brother's going to summer camp. I wish I could go. Well, he's under treatment for his cancer. And Dr. Dave didn't say what I would have said, which is, that's really terrible, let's hope we can make you well. No, he said, you should be able to go to camp. This is back in the 80s. He said, you should be able to go to camp. Goes to the Cancer Society, and they said, we'll lend you our name for insurance purposes, but you're going to have to raise the money, start a board, find a place to have this camp, do all the things. Good luck. That was over 40 years ago. The camp still goes strong. It's still one of the first oncology medically supported cancer camps for children in the country. And as I sat on a plane 15 years ago, heading back for the very last time after 15 summers, I sat next to a man in SeaTac on a plane and chit-chatted, because I talk a lot. I told him about this camp that I was going back to out in Sun Valley, Idaho, and he says, I used to live in Twin Falls, not too far away, and I heard of this place. I said, yeah. He says, my wife had cancer when we were in our 20s, and we were poor. We didn't have health insurance. Don't get me down that tangent right at the moment, but don't have health insurance. And he says, I was sure she was going to die. And we have 2 children, 2 daughters, one barely in grade school. He says, I thought I would be a widow father raising those girls alone. And then this man shows up, and his office finds his health care and gets all of the care donated, including the hospital care. And I think that this man, he says, would have picked me up and my wife to bring us to appointments himself if we needed to. Man out of Twin Falls. I said, that's where the physician was that started this camp. And I said his name, and the man started crying, and he says, because of that, man, my daughters have a mother. Because of one man who heard a child cry out and say, I need something, I wish I had my childhood, he made that thing come true. Year after year after year, he raised money and brought children in. I got to be part of that. I got to be part of the last summer of too many children, unfortunately, but they had this great joy, and they created this place that was so powerful that when some of the children knew they were not going to come back, they asked their parents as a last wish to show to this camp after they were gone, because they knew that we would take care of them. And we did. And now it's our turn to take care of our community, to rise up. The dream that Dr. King had cannot be made true if we stay asleep. We are here to make his dream come true, to make the promises that have not been kept to our indigenous people, to our people of color, to our people that are struggling in economic pressure that is incredible and ever growing. All those promises, we're here to make sure that they're kept, that we stand, and that we deliver these. These belong to us. These are our promises to keep. So spread the word, spread the energy, realize what the power of that one individual is to create a change for thousands of people in the positive. And they can take both my eyes, but they will never take that vision of what we should and can be away from me, ever. I don't have a great ending to my speech because this is a thing we're creating now. We're creating this now. This is history. And one day, I hope that this is the beginning of something where you could say, I was there. I moved things and I moved people. And we finished this story in a way that makes us warm and proud. In our last days on earth, we can say that we did something amazing. I'm not a professional speaker. It took me hours of heckling people at the Tesla dealership on a megaphone before I got used to the sound of my own voice. And I still don't feel like the kind of man that deserves to stand up in front of you, but the message that I have is important enough that I have to get over the anxiety of speaking in public. Thank you. But we all have to get over some type of anxiety, whether it's speaking to a stranger that we know we need to speak to in order to get something done, in order to stand in a place that may be dangerous. Because if we don't stand in those places now and be seen, it won't matter where we stand. Every place will be dangerous for all of us. And so let me thank you for being out here. Hand off the microphone to the next speaker, and let's make this story true and righteous and right. Thank you.
Let's get one more shot for Vinny. Yeah. Next up, we have Aaron. He's going to come talk to us.
Here we go.
Give him some energy.
Hey, what up? It's nice seeing everybody. First off, I would like to thank the organizers of this rally for giving me the opportunity to speak to all of you. Now we'll begin. Dear people of non-color, this is for you. My name is Aaron. I'm American-German dual citizenship. My mom is German and my dad's American from Atlanta. I have been residing in Portland since 2022 after jumping places around the globe since I left Germany in 2017, but I won't get to that because that could take forever. But for that, I did live in Kansas till I was 16. I have been attending the ICE protest since last year of July 5th after seeing footage online. I have since then been actively participating in the protest daily. It has been a part of my life, of my daily life up until this day. I was there as a protester and also as a videographer capturing the everyday violence that... Yes, I'm nervous, sorry. Okay. I have been attending the ICE protest since last year of July 5th after seeing footage online. I have since then been actively participating in the protest daily. It has become a part of my daily life up until this day. I was there as a protester and also as a videographer capturing the everyday violence that all of you have no idea about, nor did you quote-unquote care until we finally got some media attention after being ignored because of your white privilege. I will get to that topic regarding your white privilege later. On the ground, I've always been verbally vocal towards ICE and DHS. I would literally walk up to each Asian's face and call them a bitch face one after another. I would look them straight in the eye and say it. I would walk in between because usually how that goes down is the Asians will tell the protesters to make space away from the Asians. And so if you imagine there's a nice space, say, here are the Asians, here are the protesters, and what I do, I'm like, hey, fuck it. I'm gonna walk right in the middle and say to every single one in their face and call them a bitch face. Blah, blah, blah. Like many of us, I have also been brutalized from ICE and DHS countless times. Since the protest started evolving into a dance party, I started changing my focus to ICE Watch because the meaning of the protest disappeared and lives aren't being saved there, even though the protest still serves its purpose for awareness. Remember, everything that's happening in Minneapolis happened to us last summer. They use us as a training ground for their practice around America right now. Blah, blah, blah. And believe me, they will come back here again to finish their job because they are not done yet. And they will do a whole sweep all along the West Coast very soon, starting with San Diego very soon, the next week or two. Okay, there is ICE Watch and there is Rapid Response. They are two complete different things. With Rapid Response, you respond to the calls that people make when they spot ICE. Where with ICE Watch, you are actively looking for ICE, scoring every street, corner, parking lot to find them. I attack ICE like I do at the protest, which means up-in-your-face attitude once ICE is spotted, and I will follow them as long as I can to give them hell as long as I can and as much as possible to waste their time. When I tell you that they hate me, I mean they literally hate my fucking guts. I am known with, I'm very high on their watch list. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry about that. Calm down. Tranquilo. I've wasted with my comrades in Ice Age's time for up to 3 hours trying to save lives. Recently up in Vancouver, that was like 2 weeks ago. We like chasing for 3 hours long. That was fun too. It was a blast. This is a team effort, but how many of you can actually say that you try to save lives daily, 24/7? How many of you? None of you can, because most of you people out here are keyboard warriors who would rather hide behind a keyboard than actually be in the street fighting every day trying to save people's lives because of your entitlement. All of you only respond when the white community is affected, like with Renee Good. Don't get me wrong, that made me sad too when I saw her get shot. But this just reminds me how dangerous what we do daily can be on the road. Okay, my question for all of you white people out here. Where was the outcry for the Venezuelan couple that got shot here in Portland by ICE agents? Why don't I see any European Americans screaming for them since they got shot in our city in Portland? I have not once heard a single outcry from the white community about this incident at the protest or online. One thing I wish is that you would cry for people who aren't white too, because for me it only seems that you guys feel affected when it hurts one of your own people. I've learned not to take most of you seriously since moving back to America, because I believe that white people in this country move hella weird compared to Germany and Europe, for my taste, which I don't like. Most of you have your own agendas and only participate when it makes you look good on your Instagram feeds. One thing that we, people of color, don't need is we do not need no fucking white saviors. Like, hell no. That's the last thing we need is a white savior. Because that's the last thing we need, nor want, because at the end, we end up getting taken advantage of. Because history does not lie at all, because it's happened so many times in history in the last 500 plus years. If you really care about us people of color, which I don't believe you really do, then you would let us take charge and do things our way and not the white way. Why do you think that no black people participate in this protest? Because of how white people jacked the protest in 2022 from them. And they are still mad to this day about it, from what I've been told, from different non-profit organizations and also from my black community. If you want to help us out, then learn to listen to us more and don't pick and choose when you actually want to hear our voices like right now. After today, most of you are going to forget what we said anyways, and that's how I truly feel. I'm honestly not lying. It's my honest opinion. Remember one thing, we would not be where we are today if your ancestors would have actually fought back against the American colonies and the system that was installed. Imagine if England would have won the war. Slavery would have been abolished because the promise that England made to the enslaved to free them from slavery, which was illegal in lots of colonies, but completely after the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833. Yet you still choose to celebrate the 4th of July, which was a win for slavery. Yes, celebrating a war to keep slavery. What a bunch of hypocrites most of you are who celebrate it. And that's the truth too. If you celebrate this 4th of July, then you're a racist. Right. And now tell me you aren't racist without telling me you aren't racist. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, nor do I give a flying fuck about your feelings or your opinion. It is your ancestors' fault until this day that we are in the situation that we're in right now. Don't blame this on the black, brown, or yellow people. We have been warning you for centuries, but you've never listened to us, and you won't now, and that won't change. This is on you to fix. Use your white privilege to actually make change where you won't gain from it. And one last thing before I'm done. Quit calling people like us the minority when we are the majority in the world. In reality, white people are the minority. You guys make up 8% of this world, so quit acting like you're the majority of this world when you're not here. And for my last thing I want to say, P.S. Fuck you to all the undercover ICE agents that are here at the rally. Eat a dick and peace out. Period. Fuck ICE.
Fuck ICE. Thank you, Aaron. Next we have Crow Feather. Crow Feather, come join us. More energy than that. Come on.
My name is Crow Feather. My close friends call me Crow. ICE, DHS has beaten me pretty bad. They broke 3 of my ribs and cracked my sternum and beat me in my kidneys. I'm going to try to do this without getting too emotional, because when I speak about my people, it hits deeper than my heart. The pain is embedded in my DNA. Maybe you've heard of generational trauma. We stand today on ground that has been held, defended, and bled upon for thousands of years. Long before the name America was written on a map, hundreds of sovereign nations flourished here. But the history of this land is also a history of a soul wound. Systematic effort by the state to erase the original people of this continent. To speak of American history without speaking of genocide is to tell a lie. When European settlers first arrived, historians estimate there were over 10 million indigenous people living in North America. By 1900, through state-sponsored violence and biological warfare, that number was decimated to fewer than 300,000. This was not an accident of history, it was a calculated policy. In 1830s, the Trail of Tears saw the forced removal of over 16,000 Cherokee people. Nearly 4,000 died from exposure and starvation. 1864 and 1890, massacre at Sand Creek and Wounded Knee saw the slaughter of hundreds of women and children by the U.S. Army. The 19th century distribution of smallpox, contaminated blankets, and the allotment of lands via the Dawes Act was a deliberate tool used to break the communal spirit and physical health of indigenous nations. The fight against the U.S. government is not a recent development. It has been constant for over 500 years. From the Pueblo Revolt to 1860 to the Red Power movement of 1970s and the Standing Rock protest and today's protest at the ICE facility, indigenous people have fought a government that did not even grant them citizenship until 1924. This is a resistance that has spanned more than 20 generations, battling against a government that broke over 370 treaties it signed with indigenous tribes. In recent years, under the Trump administration, we have seen a resurgence of policies that threaten the safety and sovereignty of non-white people. For indigenous communities, this has meant budget cuts, proposed cuts, nearly $1 billion to programs in Indian country targeting the healthcare, law enforcement, and education. Threats, environmental threats, the fast tracking of pipelines like the Dakota Access and Keystone XL, which violate tribal sovereignty, threaten sacred water sources. The administration's rhetoric and policies, from the Muslim ban to the dismantling of civil rights protections, have disproportionately targeted Black, Latin, Asian, and indigenous communities. By weakening disparate impact rules, the government made it harder for any person of color to fight systematic discrimination in housing and employment. The struggle is not over, whether it's the fight for land back, the movement, the missing and murdered indigenous women, or the fight against systematic racism in our cities. The fire of resistance that started centuries ago still burns. We do not just survive, we resist. We do not exist, we lead. Our existence is our resistance.
One more round of applause. Yes. We've got Bree up next. Bree's gonna come talk to us. Give her some energy.
Welcome to the Free America Rally, folks. How y'all doing? Good. Wow. I just want you to all look around, truly, and see your community, because we're constantly bombarded with this idea that we're not amongst friends and we're not amongst good company, when really the people next to you are who we need to be leaning on right now. So I won't be doing too much of a speech, but I just want to give, raise of your hand if you think ICE, as an understatement, has gone too far. Yeah, that's community. Do you think that paperwork determines your value as a human? Nope. Good. No, good. And ultimately, we talk about MLK Day and these amazing leaders who led some of these movements, and how culture change takes decades. You know, I might not see the fruits of our labor. My kiddo might not see it. But hopefully we can start for them. So in the spirit of collective action and connection and getting organized, I want you to talk to someone next to you that you do not know, and I want you to tell them how you're participating in collective action. You got 2 minutes, and I'll round us back up. Go.
Damn.
So what are you doing? Living. I don't know you. I know you.
Yeah. She said you gotta do it with somebody you don't know.
I'd love to participate, but I gotta do other things. And you can hear the constant chatting. I love that. That really means people have to connect. That was also an assignment for the people in the chat. If you're not chatting,
It was a fast 2 minutes. It was a quick 2 minutes and back to the center. Thank you. Fuck ice. Perfect. Did you meet somebody new? Yes, good. And is somebody participating in collective action? Yes, good. Can I have one person share what they're doing? Okay, this is the time that we get organized. This is the time where real change happens, connection and organization. So we have a mic here. Who here wants to share really fast?
Hey there, I'm Lisa from Lincoln City, Oregon, and I knew from the start that Trump was going to end up. It's just the way it is. Trump is there. He's awful. So the day he was elected, we started protesting in Lincoln City. Very first protest in Salem, I headed over there. I go to every protest there is in Salem, only today I want to be part of your group because I want numbers seen in our national news that Portland is just standing up against ICE. Fuck ICE, fuck Trump, fuck that administration. Come on, people.
Thank you. Shout out from Lincoln City. Thank you. One more person.
Don't be shy.
We got a hand right there.
Got a hand. There you go.
My name is Stephanie, and I live in Selwood, and I've been going to ICE for a while, but I am really talking to the white elderly women like myself. And if you would like to go with me at night to ICE, because they need bodies there. It's rough, but if you go as a group, you'll feel safer. So I'm going to be standing over there if you want to come and get my information and come with me.
That is community. What an invitation.
Is there any last minute, one more? All right, we got a hand up here. Big round of applause, please.
Today we walked out of our school at 2. And hearing people talk about how it might not directly affect them is just frustrating because it affects all of us. So just being here today, just being able to show out is really important, I think. And we want to show our friends that even though we're just in high school, we can still do big things like this.
I can't say it any better than that. So on to our next speaker.
We got Sierra coming up. energy.
Okay, I've never spoken before publicly, so I'm going to try and keep it together as best as I can.
Got it!
In this speech, I'm going to mention my father, an indigenous man who served this country. His name is Daniel Mercado. I didn't come here today to just give a speech. I came here as a daughter, a granddaughter of indigenous immigrants. My father and grandfather served this country, but this country never served them. After serving in the Army during the Gulf War, as a sergeant veteran, he joined the police force in Savannah, Georgia. That didn't last long. He spoke in Washington, D.C. for tax credits for low-income families. Made that happen. An indigenous man made that happen. He worked hard for little pay to support my mom and 4 brothers and sisters, all while suffering from mental and physical trauma. And still this country never served him. He continued to suffer and spiral, seek help, but who is going to listen to an indigenous brown man, right?
Shame.
Give him the help he needed. So it took its toll on our family, on him. He fought until he could fight no more. And on August 7th, 2021, my father took his life. 3 months later, my grandfather passed from heartbreak. And just like that, 2 more Moctezuma descendants gone. 2 more indigenous men gone. And no one blinked. This country has taken so much from my family that gave so much and asked for so little in return. And it takes, and it takes, and it takes from indigenous families, like it always has. But what the history books like to call it and tell it as a story as the birth of America, which was actually genocide, is what we now know as ICE.
That's right.
As an indigenous protester at ICE, I have been assaulted, gassed, pushed, dragged, maced, shot at. I have scars on my body that have still not recovered. On August 4th, I was dragged for blowing a ceremonial whistle, and I was not even standing on the line. I went to federal prison, or federal holding, all for a whistle. A whistle. Because the ICE agent said I hurt his ears. And they took his word on it. I lost my job. I almost lost my home. I then myself mentally spiraled. Today I bounced back.
Right. Right.
All for standing on another imaginary line drawn by this country, another line on stolen land, my people's land that have been migrating these coastlines, these plain lands, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years before any man on a boat came here.
That's right. Right.
Today we gather to speak truth to power and to honor the original people of the land. We stand on Turtle Island, who have been harmed, silenced, and dehumanized by systems of enforcement, exclusion, and erasure. All of us have indigenous blood, some of us in our veins, and some of us have it on their hands. We are here to speak about the atrocities committed by ICE, the U.S. government, not just against immigrants, but against families, communities, indigenous peoples whose roots on this land run deeper than any border. ICE claims to protect laws, but what it has only ever protected instead is cruelty. Tearing children from their parents, detaining elders, denying medical care, taking lives, and creating fear in communities that only seek safety, work, and freedom. Does that sound familiar to you? These actions do not reflect justice, they reflect violence. We must remember this. Many immigrants are indigenous people. The border crossed us, not the other way around. Long before nation states, passports, or fences, indigenous people, we lived, traveled, traded, and thrived across these lands. To criminalize our movements today is to erase history, deny ancestral rights. Indigenous people have always fought to survive systems designed to erase us from colonization to forced removal, from broken treaties to cultural genocide and assimilation. Today, that struggle continues when indigenous people are detained, deported, or disappeared into detention centers where their languages are ignored. Cries and screams from children for their mothers and fathers are laughable. Laughable. Their spiritual practices are denied, medical needs are left untreated, humanity stripped away, people die or are never seen again. But they're just another MMIP, right?
Shame.
ICE does not just enforce immigration policy, it enforces trauma. It enforces fear, it enforces silence and violence. Families are torn apart, children grow up without parents, communities live in constant anxiety. This is not safety. This is not justice, this is not law. This is nationwide violence and unfinished genocide. A sole agenda to make this a guilt-free white America. Because if our faces are no longer here as a constant reminder of the lands they stole, the genocide, the rape, the kidnapping, the murdering, the erasure of cultures, traditions, our languages, colonization, then they get what they have always wanted, our erasure and a white America. We stand today not only in opposition to ICE, the U.S. government, but in solidarity with indigenous resistance, immigrant resilience, and human dignity. We affirm that no human being is illegal, that you will not be judged by the color of your skin, but by the content of your character. And no system that thrives on suffering deserves to continue. We demand an end to detention. We demand an end to deportation. We demand an end to the criminalization of migration. We demand an end to the genocide here on Turtle Island to Palestine. And we demand policies rooted in indigenous sovereignty, care, compassion, and community, not cages and cruelty. And we will never stop fighting for our people. We have always resisted. Migration has always endured. And together we will continue to fight for justice, for our family, for our freedom, for peace, and for a future where borders do not decide who deserves to live without fear. ICE must be stopped and humanity must rise. We exist and resist and we are still here. I have a video of my dad in Washington, D.C. It's like way back in the 90s where he spoke. If you guys want to listen to it, I can play it.
A patrolman from the Savannah, Georgia Police Department who will talk to you about his work and his family.
My name is Daniel Mercado, and I'm a patrolman with the Savannah Police Department. And through the Savannah Police Officers Alliance of Georgia, I am a proud member of the National Association of Police Organizations. I have always wanted to be a police officer, and for 3.5 years, I've been proud to serve in my community. Right now, I make $12.41 an hour, less than $26, and I certainly do pay taxes. Since my wife stays home and is busy raising our 4 people, 2 of them who are here with me today, it is up to me to provide for all of them. You can imagine it is pretty hard to take care of my family on this salary. Forgive me for not knowing all the details of this debate, but all I know is that I work hard, I pay taxes, I have kids, and for each of my children seems to me to make a lot of sense. I would think that if there was going to be a child tax credit given, that it would apply to someone like me, who is working very hard every day to support my family. I would like to thank the Vice President and the President for what they are doing to watch out for working parents like me. And I am proud to introduce to you now the Vice President of the United States, Al Gore.
Thank you.
All right, we got one last one. Danielle, she's going to come wrap us up. Let's give her some energy, some yells.
Yes, because I'm trying not to bomb. Thank you. First, I want to thank everybody that came out here today. This means a lot. And if just a group of us friends can put all this together, imagine if every single one of you here took the effort to talk to your neighbors, to talk to your friends, to talk to your family, and said, hey, you know what? Let's keep people on the streets. Let's keep visibility, and let's do this. It doesn't have to be a huge event. We need to make sure that at all times we are sending the message that we are here and we are going to keep fighting and we're not going to back down, and that there are more of us than they are of them, and we will defend this country. Most of you guys that have met me know me as Mama. I spent a lot of time down there at ICE over the summer. I don't go down there as often as I should recently with school starting back up and things, but I'm still there. And that speaks to another point, that even if you're not going down there to protest, even if you're not marching, there are things that you can do. I hope that everybody took the opportunity to get over to our tables and speak to different ways that you can reach out to your community, be involved in your community. You can do it yourself too. Whether it's just simply going grocery shopping for somebody who's afraid to leave the house and making sure their families have food. Whether it's making sure that you raise money to go ahead and send. You don't have to be rich. You can simply just, sorry, this is killing me. I just need it higher. Yeah, I'm short, but not that short. Thank you so much. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have money. There are people who want to give. You can start Cash Apps, spread it on your social media. You can put out signs with a link to be able to get people to donate. And then donate it to your food banks. Donate it to community resources. Donate it to PERC and LULAC. Donate it for different services for legal help for the people that are out there protesting, getting shot, getting brutalized. Donate it to black communities and the LGBTQI communities, all the communities, the indigenous communities that are being targeted and have been targeted. Us white folks are finally getting a taste of what it's like, and it sucks. But they've been the ones out here doing this fight for this long. We are just now getting on board, and I'm proud of us for doing something about it, but I'm also kind of ashamed that it took us this damn long. Now, I actually wrote a speech, and I'm going to read it now. That was all just what I wanted to say off the top of my head. I also want to remind people, for whomever is watching from home on a live, there is another rally at the Lonsdale Square at 5 p.m. that's also going to do a march. So anybody that hasn't had the opportunity to come out, there's still another opportunity. And you don't have to do it with an organized one, too. You can say, you know what, we're just going to do it ourselves, too. So here's to my speech. Bear with me. Trump and his Nazi MAGA loyalists have made it clear that they are taking this nation by force. with violence, murder, fear, theft of our freedom, our taxes, the disregard of the co-equal branches of government, and the destruction of our Constitution, he is destroying our great nation. On the streets across this nation, we are all witness to the suppression of our free speech, illegal search and seizures, increasing surveillance, ongoing brutality, public kidnappings, and now executions of anyone they label as illegal, terrorists, homeless, mentally ill, or just simply their version of an enemy of the state. Behind the walls of our nation's capital, we are all witness to MAGA white nationalists removing the human and legal civil rights of immigrants, minorities, citizens, women, and more. Congress allows these unlawful acts to continue with no evidence, no due process, or any oversight actions actually taken. They are undermining our constitutional rights to vote. They're pushing to end birthright citizenship and to revoke naturalized citizenship and stripping their rights to our own bodies. These so-called pro-life traitors to this country are gutting all of the programs that save life and ensure life is more than just an existing heartbeat. They're stealing our tax dollars we pay to fund services to our people and using it to fund Trump's not-so-secret service to terrorize and murder the good people of this nation, make his billionaire buddies more rich, and to protect himself and other pedophiles like him facing justice. They will pay for their crimes against the innocent people, children, and everyone that they are victimizing. We won't stop until they do. This regime's threats and murderous attacks on our neighboring sovereign nations destroys our international relationships and allyships, endangering the lives of our entire nation. All for one man and his elite billionaire buddies to further colonize this planet for their own personal gain. Like the equivalent of a teenager wanting to be just like their favorite celebrity, Trump is creating his own version of Russia's Committee for Television and Radio Broadcasting, demanding that our reputable, accredited journalists bow to his regime or give up their press access to the Capitol and the Pentagon. He has steadily replaced these credible journalists with uneducated, dishonest, biased social media influencers and podcasters with zero integrity to proudly manufacture loyalist propaganda. He is turning our public media into his own personally run state media. These acts by those who are supposed to uphold the law have gone on long enough. The threat against every person in this nation grows by the minute. We must act now and take the power this administration has stolen and put it back in the hands of the people where it belongs. Before this nation falls any further into authoritarianism. I grew up being taught that the United States of America is the leader of the free world, that our military service members fight and our veterans fought, many giving life and limb to defend the freedom of the Constitution for everyone. But the truth is, not everybody is as free as their neighbors. Many have never been afforded their rights as they should have been, despite the fact that the Constitution applies to all human beings on this land we call home. Despite the fact that the Constitution applies to all human beings on this land we call home. Action and to fulfill the promises and to factually reflect the values, freedoms, and principles for everyone. Not just in symbolism, but in action. We will fight until this time in our history is so unrecognizable in this nation and the world that no one will ever experience these atrocities again, ever. In our nation, everyone will be free, equal, and have the same rights as any of their neighbors. No matter where they come from, what religion they follow or don't, no matter what their skin color, who they love, where they work, how much money they make, the gender they are, none of that matters. Because America will be a nation that proves to the world that we are a civilized society. We can have our differences and still know that no one is less deserving of rights, dignity, and the opportunity as anyone else. The freedoms, values, and principles that should define us as the, quote, leader of the free world will not be replaced with Nazi authoritarianism. That's right. It is time that we remind our elected officials that they fucking work for us. And it's long overdue for them to do their damn jobs. It is time for them to enforce the co-equal branches of government and take effective action against those who break our constitutional laws, remove them from the office, and make them face justice. We must stand united and without pause. We must make it very clear and very public. We will not be complicit in the destruction of our lives, of our families, neighbors, communities, and this nation. We will not silently surrender our freedom and Constitution. We rise together, united, with dignity and with pride, and our love of this nation to defend it. We will be loud, we will be defiant, and we will make it undeniably clear that we will never comply with Nazi authoritarianism. So today we march. We march to the press. We will be going to KGW, and we will bring the voices of the nation to them. We won't be censored. We will not be cut short, and we will not allow them to take snippets of what we have to say and feed a narrative. They're going to hear you. Every single one of you that would like to speak will be heard, and we're going to make it live news.
One more round of applause for Danielle. That was great. All right, we got about 5 minutes until we're ready to head out of here. So what that means is if you have not been at a table, get there. If you have been to a table, make a couple friends like you did earlier. We need to build community. You have 5 minutes, and then we're going to head out. We'll make an announcement, and then you'll just follow us.
All right, people. So I'm getting reported. I got a warning for misinformation. I'll post it on the stories, and I'm gonna reset the live stream, and I'm gonna start downloading the speeches. I'm gonna cut it right now. It's crazy how I'm getting a lot of reports. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
And I've got a phone out there somewhere that looking for me.
I'm also gonna start speaking around. I'm gonna try to do my things, but I'll be right back as soon as we start marching.
Light pink, ivory.
So if you don't follow me, make sure you do. I'll be right back.